Hello and welcome. You're watching Doordarshan. I'm Shivani Pandey. Today, taking you on a very special musical journey with a very special guest. He's somebody who started his professional career in the year 1987. Though a civil servant, he continued with his childhood passion for music by playing and practicing under the guidance of the very renowned Ustad Bismillah Khan. And he plays a very interesting and unique musical instrument called the Lalitha Veena. Let's welcome Mr. L.R.Vishwanath. Hello and welcome to the show, sir.
Namaskar.
Namaskar. Sir, I was reading about you and I saw this very interesting video of a concert on the site of Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, where you're playing a very interesting, very unique musical instrument. Please tell us something about that instrument.
Well, this was a very chance rediscovery. There was no intention behind discovering any instrument.
Right.
Way back in 1993, one was initiated in meditative practices in the area of sound vibrations called Nada Yoga, based on the Shri Yantra, which is one of the most mystical symbols, by a saint called Vimarsha Nandendra Saraswati Swamiji.
Okay.
He left the body in 1996. Now he is all pervasive. So during the course of that initiation and the meditative training, a vision used to come when I used to close my eyes, and that used to look like a tambura along with a bow. So it used to be very surprising because one has never seen tambura being played with a bow.
Right.
I have myself played tambura with many artists from my childhood. In fact, most of the music which went into my ears is because of I was playing the tambura. I had constant, I was a privy to great stalwarts like Pandit V.G. Jog and Ali Akbar Khan Sahab and M.S.Subhalakshmi ji and many others. I used to play tambura for 4 hours, 5 hours. Those concerts used to be very long.
Right.
Today you have capsule concerts, but those were live long concerts. So it was a wonder how a tambura can be ever played with a bow. But it went on coming for several days. So first few days I thought it was a some kind of a projection, mental projection. But when that image would not leave me, then I shared with my wife, Bhanumati Viswanath. She is a classical musician, Carnatic classical musician, disciple of Padma Vibhushan Dr.T.K.Murthy.
Okay, wow.
So when I narrated this, she took it more seriously than me. She said, why don't you draw it out and let's see what comes.
Right.
So my drawing is very poor. In school also I used to score very poor marks for drawing and clay modeling. Somehow I drew that and I went to office. In the evening when I returned, she had made a cardboard model based on that drawing.
Okay.
And that looked like, there could be an instrument like that.
Right.
Then started the research, 1994 onwards. For 2 years, 2.5 years, we had gone through all the scriptural texts, went to various libraries, went to various sources. We had 3 principal research material on which this instrument is based. One is on the walls of the Kashi Vishwanath Ji temple in Varanasi. There used to be an inscription in which the Sandhya Arati performed there. There is a line called Kunu 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 Lalitha Veena Vadayante.
Okay, which means
like which means the sound of the Lalitha Veena is Kunu 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 Kunu. That's the melodical sound.
The melody.
That is now reproduced in a book called Stotra Sangraha, which is brought out by the Kashi Vishwanath Trust. There these lines are available. That was one.
Okay.
The second was in Raja Ravi Verma's paintings. One could see a beautiful image of Lalitha Rajarajeshwari, her darbar. Where you have mother sitting, empress goddess.
Right.
One side is Lakshmi, the other side is Saraswati.
Okay.
There Saraswati is playing the Urdhva Veena, the plucked instrument which is often seen.
Okay.
And Lakshmi is playing a bowed Veena.
Okay. So Lakshmi is playing this one.
Bowed Veena. Now the question is, how is that Lakshmi is playing a Veena? This is the first question which comes. Even we had this question. Then the reference is, there is this Adi Guru of Carnatic music called Purandara Dasa. He is called the Pitamaha of Carnatic music, several centuries before.
Right.
He had composed small little songs for beginners called Geetams.
Okay.
They are alutes.
Okay.
So there is a song called Varaveena Mridupani.
Okay.
It's a very popular song in Carnatic music.
Okay.
So, in that song towards the end, there is a reference, it says, Varada Priya Ranganayaki. Ranganayaki is the wife of Ranganayaka. Ranganayaka is Mahavishnu,
Okay,
who
which
sports
is-
all colors of colors.
Right.
Ranganayak.
Ah,
So, Ranganayaki is his spouse or consort,
which is Lakshmi.
Lakshmi.
Right.
And the third important, most authentic name given was, when this matter was referred to our spiritual guru, Swami Vimarshanandendra Saraswati Swamiji,
Okay.
saying that, we found this instrument and it's very easy to play. The fingers move very fast. And things are very, it's in the beginning it's very complicated, but once you master, there are three things that happens on this instrument. One is one can play anything the way one wants. Number two, the sound produced becomes as tuneful as possible.
Right.
Number three, the possibility of getting false notes is minimized to zero.
Right.
So, it was very easy, effortless.
Effortless.
So, when we asked the guru, can we call it Lalitha Veena? Lalitha means easy.
Easy to
Lalitha is something else,
Okay.
the name of the goddess.
Right.
Lalita means something which comes out effortlessly.
Effortless.
So, the Swamiji said, when you say Lalitha Veena, it means an effortless instrument.
Right.
When you say Lalitha Veena, it is an instrument of the goddess.
Okay.
So, it was named Lalitha Veena in 1996.
Okay.
It is not named after any individual, me or my wife or anybody.
Right.
It is named after the goddess Lalitha Rajarajeshwari, and it was inaugurated in the first ever concert at Washington, Maryland, in the Shiva Vishnu temple, 11th August 1996.
Okay. They say music is the language of the soul, and you have to connect your soul with something divine in order to produce any kind of music or any art for that matter. So, there you are on the other side, living a very fast-paced cosmopolitan life, a senior bureaucrat perhaps signing a dozen files a day. So, how do you bridge that gap? How do you strike a balance between the very spiritual and the very material?
Very interesting question. I think the fundamental realization of spirituality
Right.
is to bring it into the material world.
Right. Perfect.
There is no spirituality which can run on isolation.
Right.
If you are really into spirituality, then you transform that into your daily life, bring that quality, bring that calmness,
Right.
the energy,
Right.
the equilibrium.
Right.
And as we all know, the brain has the left and the right side,
Right.
the logical side, the creative side.
Correct.
So, one has seen that if there is something called music or arts or any of those leisures, even sports for instance,
Correct.
people who have these things, they probably excel in their official work also.
Right.
You cannot be a fantastic musician and a poor performer in the office,
Right.
because your image on stage when you perform, which is being seen by the public,
Correct.
is something which comes out of your striving for excellence. That same striving for excellence has to be there in your official work.
Right.
May not be for laurels or appreciation letters or things, but the quest for excellence is a continuous whole which cannot be broken, that look, I am in office, now I am going to be mediocre,
Right.
now I am going for a meeting, I will be slightly better, and evening I am going to perform, I should be excellent. It should be a uniform whole.
Right. It becomes a part of your personality.
Yes.
Right.
So, I think both the things can gel well.
Right.
And the towering figure with whom one trained in music, that is late Ustad Bismillah Khan Sahab,
Right.
he also believed in transforming spirituality into your normal life.
Right.
For instance, he used to sit and play in front of the Shitla Mandir in Varanasi on the ghats, and he used to play for the common person, for the gods, for the Ganges, not only for audience. Similarly, during the Muharram time, he used to lead a procession where he used to play something called the Matami Dhun. That is a sound of feeling for the departed ancestors, or like you celebrate for happiness, you also observe for the tragic side inside. Like in a choir, you have got something called a song called the Dirge, D-A-R-G-E. There is a famous poem called Dirge in the Woods, I think by William Wordsworth. So life is a mixed package of both agony and ecstasy. So if you have music for ecstasy, you should also have music for agony.
So you talked about Ustad Bismillah Khan, and you trained under him. So would you like to tell us about your experience and the days with him?
Actually, one feels that all life is yoga, like Aurobindo said. Our endeavor to learn something. We are all students, irrespective of what stature we achieve in our life. First 15 years of my musical career, I had trained only in Carnatic music. I started in Kolkata under A. Anantaraman, who was a great scholar, musician. Guru Guha Gana Vidyalaya still exists. I had the opportunity to listen to people and be with people like Pandit V.G. Jog, and Ali Akbar Khan Sahab was that time leaving for the US, his son Dhyanesh Khan Sahab. And the Dover Lane Conference is a very big hit there. Bismillah Khan Sahab used to be a regular visitor. And of all the instrumentalists and the vocals that one heard, there was a fascination, because I always felt when Bismillah Khan Sahab played, he used to look to me like the Pied Piper. We all have read and enjoyed Pied Piper of Hamelin, but here I used to think that this is somebody who is a living Pied Piper. But I never thought that one day, a day will come when one will reach him. That was a distant dream in the childhood. Then after one came to Mussoorie for the services, for training in Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy, and then I had a very important break when I met Shobhana Narayanji, who from the Audit and Account Service, who is a very renowned dancer, now retired from service but still practicing. She is the one who encouraged that you have such a good fingering system. You should now learn Hindustani music and adopt that also, so that your music is complete. So I went along and tried to listen to concerts in Delhi, in Allahabad, in Banaras, in Jalandhar, wherever there was concerts, in Gwalior. But somehow that fascination to go to Khan Sahab was there. And I never knew how to approach him, because it was very difficult. And he was a very different kind of a man. And those were not the days of mobile or WhatsApp. But it so happened that once he was being invited for a award by the then Vice President of India, Honorable K.R. Narayanji. And the organizers wanted, I was working for them, it was a voluntary organization called Swaralaya, still exists. It was run by a Rajya Sabha member of Parliament then, Mr. M.A. Baby. Later on he became a minister in the Kerala government. He is still there. He is a very simple but very active political person who is into social cause. So he wanted me to go to Banaras, talk to Bismillah Khan Sahab. He was saying, I would not like to come just for a Puraskar. What is there? I have got so many things in life. But to motivate Khan Sahab when he was 70, 75 plus was very difficult. So I was sent there as a special emissary of the club. I went there. Then when I went there, the first question he asked me, are you a musician? Aapko gana bajana aata hai? So I said yes. When I said yes, there was a sparkle in his eyes. He thought I thought you are just a bureaucrat, or just this. I said no, I have left all that outside when I entered your house in Benia Bagh in Banaras. So he asked me, what do you do and all that. Then he said, why have you come? I said, we want you there. Not it is one more award to you, but for us it's a pride. So he accepted. Then he gave me a condition. The moment I alight in New Delhi, I'll come by train. I don't like traveling by plane. From that point to my return to New Delhi, to Banaras, you will be with me throughout. I don't want.
So you had a connection with him.
Yes. So he was here for 4 or 5 days. That was my first exposure to Khan Sahab. So he had laid down certain conditions. He said, I'll travel only by a premier Padmini vehicle. He was very choosy. and I will sit in the front seat next to the driver.
Acha.
Anybody escorting me will sit on the back seat.
Okay.
And I will stay at a place called Liberty Hotel, which is in Fatehpuri Masjid.
Okay.
And you will have to be with me all the time, going and coming.
Right.
And after I play the concert, in the green room, I want Britannia cakes, small pieces,
Okay.
and hot cups of tea.
Okay.
And these things are very particular because if I don't get it, I may flare up.
Oh,
He openly told me.
Okay.
So all those things were there, and it was a
Arranged.
pleasure to be with him.
Yes.
And that particular day when K.R. Narayan Sir was giving him an award, the Swaralaya Puraskar, my wife was asked to sing the prayer song.
Oh, lovely.
So she sang a Vande Mataram by Subramanya Bharati. There is also Vande Mataram by Subramanya Bharati, the poet in Tamil.
Right.
That particular song was in the rag Yaman,
Okay.
with a Gandhar which is very pronounced.
Right.
After that, when Khan Sahib played, he also played Yaman, full concert,
Okay.
an hour and a half. When we went back to leave him in Liberty Hotel, my wife was also with me, we were both going. He told me, you know, why I played Yaman today. I got inspired by her Gandhar.
Oh.
The way she caught hold of that swar, that inspired me, so I played. That was the level of the person. He
Right.
never bothered who he was, who
Right.
we were.
Right.
Then he was here for 2 days, so that night he told me, today I will teach you. I said, what? He said, what not to play.
Oh, okay.
So he said, first thing is resolve that you will not play for the next so many years.
Oh, okay.
Because if you want to learn good music, you should have the art of saying no.
Right.
Only by saying no in the initial period, you can master what you want.
Correct.
Later on, even if you don't want, people will be after you to play. So he taught me how to catch hold of three swaras.
Okay.
For instance, there is a raga, you take the sa, the ri and the ni below, octave.
Okay.
Try to play with them for half an hour in various permutations, combinations. Then add one more swara,
Okay.
4, then go to 5. He says your imagination, your exercise, your mastery, this all will depend on how much you give attention. Then he said, the one who has got swara, he will be blessed by God with the laya. Don't go after rhythm, don't try to do calculation.
Right.
Mathematics in music is not a desirable thing. Of course, everything should come into the tal. But if you concentrate on swar,
Right.
you will get lay. But you run after rhythm, you will lose the melody, you will also not get the rhythm. These are all lessons
Okay.
he taught. Then
Right.
after 2-3 days, when Ustad Sahib was going back to Banaras, that was the time of Ramzan, and he used to do his namaz. He was 5 times a day, he used to perform religiously.
Okay.
We were in the New Delhi railway station.
Right.
He was going by Kashi Viswanath Express.
Okay.
He said, I want to perform namaz on the platform. It was afternoon, 1:30 is the train.
Okay.
So there is a namaz time.
Right.
Now suddenly this was a challenge because he
Right.
had 22 people in his troop,
Right.
and everybody would perform namaz at that time.
Okay. It
So
was a group namaz.
yes, so I had to go to the station superintendent, request him, convince him. They cleaned one portion of the platform with the broomstick. They spread a white sheet called Chandni, that,
You're right.
and then Ustad Bismillah Khan Sahib and all his 21 member troop, they performed namaz there. After the namaz was over, he was so happy. He went into the AC first class coupe. He always used to travel by the AC first class coupe.
Right.
He went inside, he called me, and he said, close the door. Nobody need come inside. And there was no mobile phones, nobody could come.
Right.
For the next 35 minutes till the train was leaving, he taught me what are the various kinds of swaras to be used in the 10 main thoughts of Hindustani music.
Right.
What are the patterns, what are the tans, how to take a meend, how to take a long breath, how to cut it short.
Right.
And there is something called the Kanchi ka tan which he uses in his songs, which sounds the typical Bismillah Khan Sahib's Shahnai pattern. All those things he taught there sitting. Then he said, apply.
Right. So that was your first class with.
No, that was one of the classes.
One of the
Earlier
classes.
he used to say, but that day what he taught me after that namaz with his spiritual, leaning,
Right.
that was a treasure which came and that has stood all my life.
Right.
From there, like it is a small little tinder, a matchstick with which you light and then the entire fire engulfs. That 35 minutes module has given me things worth so many years,
Right.
which on which basis one sustains.
Right. So Dr. T.K. Murthy is also part of this Jugalbandi, and he is a mridangist. How was the experience of playing with him?
Well, for me, it is not something which I ever thought
Right.
I would play with him. not because of any other reason. He is now 93.
Right.
And I think he's been playing mridangam for the last 80 years.
Wow.
From the age of 10 or so, or 8 to be very precise.
Right.
And for 60 years he played non-stop with Bharat Ratna late Dr. M.S.Subhalakshmi.
Okay.
And he accompanied her even in the United Nations peace concert in the 60s, where Rajaji had given an opening speech, and Paramacharya of Kanchipuram had written that bhajan Maitrim Bhajata, which was tuned into music by Vasanta Desai, the great music director. Then Dr. T.K.Murthy played with so many great people, and people like Ustad Zakir Hussain and Vikku Vinayak Ram, they all hold him in very high esteem. He is like the grand master of percussion. And the funniest part is, the most essential part is, he is now playing with the 7th generation.
Wow.
Yes, he has started playing with as early as, you can imagine last 80 years how many people he would have covered. And now among his disciples, there are children who are the age of 10, 12 who are performing with him on the mridangam. Then I have my twin daughters, one plays drums with him, Amrita, she's learning from him, and one plays keyboard for his concerts, Akshaya. And that's how one was always in touch with him. But this time when he came to receive the Padma Award from the Honorable Rashtrapati ji, he was asked by DD India whether he would like to perform as a felicitation concert, and it was a gift to all of us, because at 93 he is still playing.
He's probably the oldest person.
Yes, and playing percussion is a very heavy job. It requires a lot of stamina, and he could very much end up in the Guinness Book for having done that. So when he was asked whom would he like to play with, he said he wants to play Jugalbandi with me, because 2 years back I played a Hindustani concert in Chennai where he was the chief guest. And I played with Akhtar Hassan, with whom I have been playing for the last so many years. He's a very good tabla player. Suddenly he was sitting in the audience, and at the end of the concert he said, my hand was always moving today because I wanted to play with you. So I said, it's a great privilege for me, the very fact
great compliment.
Yes, but I said, that's a great compliment, but I never entertained the idea beyond that. But this time he was very particular that he wants to play and he wants me to play. So it was a big privilege, and one played with him, and there were other artists also. There was this Atreya, who is his own disciple, playing on the Kanjira, the South Indian Duffli. He's a very good artist, he's an A grade. Ustad Akhtar Hassan was there on the tabla, and Amrita was there on the drums, Akshay was there on the keyboard. So it was a kind of Jugalbandi which had a mixture of Carnatic classical because of Kanjira and mridangam, and Hindustani side because of the tabla, and the western side because of the drums and the synthesizer, and I was playing the Hindustani style. It was a very unique kind of ensemble.
Thank you, sir. It was a pleasure talking to you. No meeting with a musician can be complete without some music. So we have a very interesting Jugalbandi lined up. you.